Good evening, y'all. Want to talk about a couple things here. Appreciate it if you stay with me. First thing is, I talked to y'all about taking on a channel sponsor a few weeks ago and whether or not I was going to do it. At first I was kind of After talking to the guy that owns the company, he's the most liberty-minded individual I've ever met that believes in, supports, defends, and will enforce our Constitution. But I still wanted to do it in a way that I wasn't personally making money from it. So he donated money to the cause of helping people out. You know how I take up money for somebody says, hey, I got fired for this reason, and then they talk to me over a period of a few months or whatever, and something happens, or people that we know in the community or whatever need help. So he donated a good sum of money to that, which will help out. I don't know how I want up splitting it up, but I want to wind up splitting it up and helping multiple people out if I can. So here is his items right here. And what you just seen was they are pen holders. The one that you see that is solid, except on the right hand side, is a can opener. This is a patent pending. It's a patent pending bottle opener. I'm sorry, not a can opener, bottle opener. Patent pending bottle opener, and the artwork is actually copyrighted. It's his depiction of what a similar item to like what a lightning link would be. It's completely solid. It's all it is just etched in the top of the stainless. It's not cut all the way through. The pen holders where the pen where it actually holds the pen are cut all the way through, obviously, as you've seen. They're not illegal. They're not a firearm part, nothing like that. If you don't know what a lightning link is, Google it. It's a pretty cool thing that Colt used to have. And anybody that's thinking you can just cut this out on your own and throw it in a firearm, number one, you'd be committing a crime. Do not do that shit. It is illegal. Number two, and you know that you got to follow the laws or you'll go to jail. Number two, there's other things that you can't just put it in any AR-15 and make it act like a full auto. You have to have a low shelf receiver. You have to have an SP1 bolt carrier group, or convert your bolt carrier group to SP1. A little grinding, cutting. It's some work. It'd be some work, but it'd still be committing a crime, so don't do it. He even told me that I didn't have to make videos. He said, here, I want to do this. I want to sponsor you, whether or not you even want to mention me. Go visit his website at least, autokeycards.com and autokeycard.com. If you try autokeycard.com, try autokeycards.com. Either one, it will take you there. And just check out his what he sells. Like I said, the guy's the most liberty-minded person I've ever met in my life. Our Constitution, excuse me, our Constitution is our Constitution. Even though it's one document, it represents multiple people, we the people. And it represents us in an individual way. Even though it's a collective document, it's also an individual document. It is my restrictions against government, just like it is your restrictions against government. I bring this up because there's a court case going before the Supreme Court about nonviolent felons and their right to keep and bear arms. The person, I forget his name now, but that is going to the Supreme Court with this. The Constitution is his laws against government. Nowhere in there did he give government permission to take his rights. Government doesn't have that authority. Even though it represents us all, it represents us individually also. It's our laws. Even if everybody in the country decide to get rid of the Constitution, the government would still have to operate within those restrictions because I said so. Number two thing I want to talk about. All these channels for the past few weeks have been bitching and moaning about election fraud. Election don't matter, it's a selection. It's always been. You just haven't noticed it in your lifetime. But these same channels that have been bitching and moaning about the election being stolen, blaming Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, especially Georgia, are now talking about how important these Senate races are in Georgia. If you live in Georgia, go out and vote. Donate out of your time to call people. Get out there with signs. Right after they said that Georgia was partially responsible for stealing the presidential election. So you think the election's a fraud, or you at least think Georgia played a part in that fraud, and you want the people in Georgia to go vote again? That kind of don't make sense, right? That's like saying everybody in the country that bought a Lamborghini this month had their car stolen. So anybody else that buys them is probably going to get them stolen too. But go buy one. Don't make sense. A buddy of mine's in prison, finishing up he's on the tail end of a 7-year sentence for a bottle of Jack Daniels. Yeah, he got screwed. He said about 90 days ago on JPay. JPay is a system where I can pay money and have an email account that me and him can talk on. There's like a kiosk. And when he does get a chance to get on it, he and I can email each other back and forth. Like I can send a letter if I want today. It's just basically an electronic letter, way to send electronic letters. He said about 90 days ago, he got on there and they were offering commissary, free commissary, like whatever the amount was. He didn't say what the amount was, but he said a bag. So I'm assuming it was probably, $30, $40 commissary, which is a big deal in prison. They were offering free commissary to any inmates in Ohio that would take a flu shot. He said, this probably wouldn't have been that odd because they do weird shit sometimes. He said, but number one, they never offered me money to take a flu shot. Number two, in 6.5 years, they never offered me a flu shot. He said, I asked around. I don't know anybody that they've offered a flu shot. And as long as they've been here, he's with people that are doing a lot of time. Most of them are doing life sentences. His question was, did they test this vaccine out on us? Which is a good question, number one. The second question is who paid those people? Where did that money come from? Who authorized this? The next question he asked was, are they going to force us to be vaccinated? Since the state claims we are their property, can they force us to be vaccinated? He's genuinely worried about this. I hadn't even thought about it until he mentioned it, really. I think we all should be worried about it, and I think that we should all be calling our governors to find out what's going on with the prison inmate population and make them well aware that even though they are in prison, they still have the right to say what goes inside of their body and what doesn't. This is dangerous. In World War II in Germany, they did a lot of experiments on the JEWSs. Is that what we're facing again? Is that what they're doing to our prisoners? I don't know. He's genuinely worried about it. He gets out in August. And, in there, they don't know what's going on out here. He only knows because I tell him. They let him watch the news. And so you know what they think in there. He said, everybody walks around here with masks on. Nobody gives any problems because nobody will listen to me. They don't know what's going on. A lot of people where he's at, like I said, he's serving time with a lot of people that are doing major time, 10 years and better, most of them. Most of them doing life sentences. I think like 40% of the population is doing life sentences, which is a lot when you're talking about, 2,400 people at one prison. I forget how many prisons there are in Ohio. I think there's like 32 total, which is insane in itself. It may not be that high, but there's a lot. And they're just offering to anybody. There was no like we need 100 people or we need 30 people. Anybody that would take a flu shot got this bag of commissary. He said they'd go down and come back with a Band-Aid on their arm and a sack full of food. With a smile on their face. Like, yay, idiots. We have scary days coming ahead of us, people. I think we all should be ready for whatever comes.